Like Roe v. Wade just happened, and the fallout of that is kind of interesting. And I don't know, man. Like I understand. Like I believe as an independent, people have the right to choose, and
Yeah,
women, men, whatever, whoever you are, I believe you have the right to your own, choose with your own body medication.
bodily autonomy.
But if the Supreme Court gave back, the right to the states, I really think it should be up to the individuals, which I think that, cities should just vote if they want that in their cities or not, because again, you would see like in Texas specifically, like Austin would most likely be like, yes, the city of Austin will allow abortions, as opposed to maybe like San Antonio or Dallas or something. Because essentially what I'm saying is if the federal government is saying, hey, we're out, you leave this to you guys, then I think, it should still be left up to the individual. And a way of doing that would be like, the cities essentially saying, what we want in our county. And you're saying, well, why not the states? But the thing is, in red states.
That doesn't properly represent all the, like, California is historically been blue since probably the 80s and on, I'm guessing. But there are definitely huge red areas in California.
Yeah, same thing with Texas. It's a red state, but there are plenty of like blue areas in Texas. So that my whole point is that in red states, you're not going to be able to turn that vote against, making the entire state pro-abortion. But what you could do as an alternative is leaving it up to the cities, and cities being like, yeah, we're going to allow, this in our city. But again, that requires state help, and it's a really sad situation.
I personally don't want any government involved in it at all. And I think for me, the ideal situation would have been for everyone to find an agreement on what they would consider to be good for an abortion, and that be included in like a bodily autonomy amendment that would be added to the Constitution.
But that's the thing, is I don't think that.
I mean, they've wasted 50 years trying to figure out what is considered right and not, what is okay and not okay for abortion.
I mean,
so
but
I don't think that's going to happen.
This is the thing. That's what I'm saying, is like we're too divided to have it happen at like a federal level. We're too divided to happen at like a state level. You already see it. There's plenty of blue states that have abortion, and there's red states that don't. But I think the only way around it now at this point is for the people to come out and be like, let's just leave it up to our individual cities and what we want in, our cities.
I mean, then people would start paying more attention to their city level politicians, for sure.
Exactly. And then again, it's still left up to the individual, because then they get to vote on like, hey, I want this in my city, which would be good for like a place like Texas, because then instead of it being like, oh, the entire state it's banned, it's like I could go to Austin and get an abortion.
I think that's I think that's a good realistic way of looking at it.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of confusing to some people, because they're like, why not just leave it up to the individual? But it's like federal government's already said no involvement. The states, everybody's divided. There's red and blue states already. So at that point, the only thing I think you could argue is, like trying to allow it to be what you deem legal in your city, in the premises. And that's left up to just like, when there's city council votes and things, Measure E and vote on this and, for your city and stuff and for the schools, it's like same thing. Like, would you allow abortion clinics in your city? And then you get an actual representation of that populace in that city, and then it's allowed there.
It'd be a lot more accurate.
Exactly.
Yeah, we would actually get for sure know how many people actually do want and don't want abortion, or like in their respective cities.
Yeah, I definitely think that should be a thing throughout like all states, because as an independent, I understand and I can sympathize with others, because everybody has different opinions on different issues. Someone might be pro-abortion, and then somebody might be also pro-gun. And those are like two opposite sides of the spectrum when you look at it like politically. That's one Democrat and one.
That's typically something that is on the left side, and then something else that is typically on the right side.
Exactly. And so essentially for some of these issues, I'm not saying all issues, case by case basis, a lot of things should be just left up to the state, or some things should be left up to, the city for more individualized things. But I don't know.
Point I was going to make about that. Hold on, I just forgot. Oh, I think that would actually be really, really good, because people would have to learn to live with people they disagree with.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, this city clearly doesn't allow abortion, but I have friends over there, so I don't know if they do or don't agree with that. But however, like, I'm not just gonna full on abandon them or something. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like, it would force people to realize that, especially
that other people have different
states
opinions.
Like California. Yeah, people would realize like there are other opinions. I can't like go to argue with these people all the time and live in the next city over.
Exactly. It's the same thing with like guns in California. It's like just because it's a Democratic state doesn't mean that there aren't gun owners here. Like almost 1/4 of the population, which is like almost 10 million people in the state, own guns. Most of them leave because they hate the state. But that's my point. It's just like you can't discount like everybody's gun rights in California and be like, yes, let's over-regulate guns here. When it's just like, no, there's still a good portion of the population that owns guns. But I don't know, man. Like this is. The Supreme Court right now they're on fire, man. They're doing a lot.
That one dude is about to retire, so they've been like, let's get these decisions out right now. Like I thought.
I mean, Ketanji Brown. I mean, it'll still be like a 5-4 vote. I mean,
still, but they want to get as much done before the Biden admin probably tries to pack the courts. I don't know.
I don't think they're going to try and pack the courts because they have Ketanji Brown now, and I think they know that like probably in the next